assessment process, a new faceless assessment scheme has already been introduced. Currently, most of the functions of the income tax department, starting from the filing of return, processing of returns, issuance of refunds, and assessment, are performed in the electronic mode without any human interface. In order to take the reforms initiated by the department to the next level and to eliminate human interface, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act so as to enable faceless appeal on the lines of faceless assessment. So faceless assessment was done, now faceless appeals will also be possible. Sir, Honourable Speaker, Vivad se Vishwas scheme. Vivad se Vishwas scheme. No dispute, but only trust scheme. If I can say it in English, no dispute, but trust scheme. Vivad se Vishwas scheme. Sir, in the past, our government has taken several measures to reduce tax litigations. In the last budget, Sabka Vishwas scheme was brought in to reduce litigation in indirect taxes. It resulted in settling over 1,89,000 cases. Currently, there are 4,83,000 direct tax cases. 4,83,000 direct tax cases pending in various appellate forums, Commissioner of Appeals, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, High Court, Supreme Court, and so on. This year, I propose to bring a scheme similar to the indirect tax Sabka Vishwas scheme for reducing the litigation even in the direct taxes. Under the proposed Vivad se Vishwas scheme, a taxpayer would be required to pay only the amount of disputed tax and will get complete waiver of interest and penalty provided he pays by 31st March 2020. Those who avail this scheme after 31st March 2020 will have to pay some additional amount, but even then they can come in. The scheme will remain open till 30th June 2020. So the first thing is 31st March 2020, where you just pay the disputed tax amount, no penalty, no interest. In case you don't do it before that, you move over to 30th June, but where you pay some additional amount. Taxpayers in whose cases appeals are pending at any level can benefit from this scheme. I hope that taxpayers will make use of this opportunity to get relief from vexatious litigation process. So, losses of merged banks. As part of consolidation of the financial sector, our government has brought out schemes for merger and amalgamation of public sector banks in order to ensure that amalgamated entities are able to take the benefit of unabsorbed losses and depreciation of the amalgamated entities. I propose to make necessary amendments to the provision of the Income Tax Act. Taxpayers' Charter. I mentioned it briefly in Part A. Any tax system requires trust between taxpayers and the administration. This will be possible only when taxpayers' rights are clearly enumerated. Towards this end, and with the objective of enhancing the efficiency of delivery system of the Income Tax Department, I propose to amend the provisions of the Income Tax Act to mandate the Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, to adopt a taxpayer's charter. The details of the contents of the charter will be notified soon. Instant PAN through Aadhaar. In the last budget, I had introduced the interchangeability of PAN and Aadhaar for which necessary rules were already notified. In order to further ease the process of allotment of PAN, soon we will launch a system under which PAN shall be instantly allotted online on the basis of Aadhaar without any requirement for filling up of detailed application form. Sir, our government brought in the GST as a historic reform of the indirect taxes in 2017. We also took a path-breaking step of simplifying and rationalizing corporate tax in September 2019. More importantly, we offered a rate of corporate tax which perhaps is the lowest in the world. Continuing on this path, we have now put the personal income tax at its lowest ever rate and totally removed the DDT at the company's hands. Further, the direct taxes are now the lowest, simplest and the smoothest. Direct tax on the startups have also been seen many reformatory steps in quick succession. Even ease of compliance is seeing unprecedented changes. Last but not the least, personal interface with tax administration is at the minimum level. So last, indirect tax. Indirect tax, sir. As I mentioned earlier in Part A of my speech, reforms are continuing in the GST. A simplified return shall be implemented from 1st April 2020. This is under the pilot run. It will make return filing simple with features like SMS-based filing for nil return, return pre-filling, improved input tax credit flow, and overall simplification. Refund process has been simplified and has been made fully automated with no human interface. Electronic invoice is another innovation wherein critical information shall be captured electronically in centralized systems. It will be implemented in a phased manner starting from this month itself on optional basis. It will facilitate compliance and return filing. Several measures have been taken for improving compliance. That has been a worry for many of the states, sir. Aadhaar-based verification of taxpayers is being introduced. This will help in weeding out dummy or non-existent unit. Dynamic QR code is proposed for consumer invoices. GST parameters will be captured when payment for purchases is made through the QR code. A system of cash reward is envisaged to incentivize customers to seek invoice. Deep data analytics and AI tools are being used for crackdown on GST input tax credit refund, input tax credit refund and other frauds, and to identify all those who are trying to game the system. Invoice and input tax credit matching is being done, wherein returns having mismatch more than 10% or above a threshold are identified and pursued. Significant policy level changes have also been made. GST rate structure is also being deliberated upon so as to address issues like inverted duty structure. Customs. A number of measures have been taken for ease of doing business. India's quantum leap in the trading across border parameter of ease of doing business rankings by the World Bank is a testimony to these efforts. India's rank on this parameter improved from 146 to 80 in 2018 and further to 68 in 2019. Measures have also been taken for providing a level playing field to our domestic manufacturers, particularly the MSME sector, and for securing our borders. It has been observed that imports under free trade agreements are on the rise. Undue claims of FTA benefits have posed threats to domestic industry. Such imports require stringent checks. In this context, suitable provisions are being incorporated in the Customs Act. In the coming months, we shall review rules of origin requirements, particularly for certain sensitive items, so as to ensure that FTAs are aligned to the conscious direction of our policy. Speaker, sir, we are also strengthening provisions relating to safeguard duties, which are applied when surge in imports causes serious injury to domestic industry. Amended provisions shall enable regulating such surge in imports in a systematic way. The provisions for checking dumping of goods and imports of subsidized goods are also being strengthened for ensuring level playing field for domestic industry. These changes are in line with international best practices. Exemptions from customs duty have been given in the public interest from time to time. However, a number of these have outlived their utility or have become outdated. On review, certain exemptions are being withdrawn. Remaining customs duty exemptions shall be comprehensively reviewed by September 2020 for taking a view on their relevance. I propose to crowdsource suggestions for such reviews. Suggestions would also be invited in respect of the customs laws and procedures for aligning them with the needs of changing times. Sorry. Labor-intensive sectors in MSME are critical for employment generation. Cheap and low-quality imports are impediment to our growth. Special attention has been taken to put measured restraint on import of these items, which are being produced by our MSMEs with better quality. Keeping in view the need of the sector, customs duty is being raised on items like footwear and furniture. Our policy of Make in India has started giving dividends. Need more water. Our policy. Our policy of Make in India has started giving dividends. India is now making world-class goods and exporting such products. We have made considerable progress in medical equipments too. Thank you. We have made considerable progress in medical equipment too. Till a few weeks back, we were dependent on imports for medical equipment. Now, not only we are manufacturing medical equipment, but also exporting them in large quantities. This sector deserves further fillip. Government has also been committed to provide health services to all. Ayushman Bharat has made it possible to achieve the twin objectives of giving impetus to the domestic industry and also to generate resources for health services. I propose to impose a nominal health cess by way of duty of customs on the imports of medical equipment, keeping in view that these goods are now being made significantly in India. I'm fine. No. There are only 2 more pages. To achieve the twin objectives of giving impetus to the domestic industry and also to generate resources for health services, I propose to impose a nominal health cess I propose to impose a nominal health cess by way of duty of customs on the import of medical equipment. Keeping in view that these goods are now being made significantly in India, the proceeds of this cess shall be used for creating infrastructure. So I think I will lay the rest of the pages, sir. Please consider as read. Thank you.
माननीय सदस्य प्लीज, माननीय सदस्य प्लीज अपने अपने स्थान बैठे आप। आइटम नंबर 3 श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी स्टेटमेंट सभा पटल पर रखें।
Sir, item number 3, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table of the following statements under Section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003, medium-term fiscal policy cum fiscal policy strategy statement and macroeconomic framework statement.
आइटम नंबर 4 श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी वित्त विधेयक पूर्व स्थापना 2020।
Sir, with your permission, I rise to move for leave to introduce Finance Bill 2020.
प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक को पूरा स्थापित करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, अनुमति प्रदान की जाती है। माननीय मंत्री जी, अब विधेयक पूरे स्थापित।
Sir, I introduce the bill.
सभा की कार्रवाई सोमवार दिनांक 3 फरवरी 2020 को सुबह 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।